Again, Junichiro Tanizaki makes the claim that if Japanese would have invented dentistry, then or medicine, then hospitals and clinics, they would have they would be made for Japanese aesthetics instead of this glimmering white, pure white of the current medical establishments. It would have been like wooden or something like that. But no, that's not true. If you look at the history of medicine, you can see that, like for instance, about sanitation. The sanitation. There was a point where this guy, I think he was a Jewish guy. He insisted that Jewish doctor. He insisted that everyone should wash their hands between patients, between surgery of patients and such. And everyone was like, "Oh, it's too exaggerated," blah blah blah. Well, it turns out that he was right. Well, by doing that, they started. The deaths in the surgery, the death of patients drastically was reduced, and that was because of cross-contamination. In order to have the medical establishment as it is today, you would require that to have happened, meaning everything has to be clean, everything has to be white, everything has to be absolutely immune to bacteria, antibacterial, because if anything is dirty, when you open up a human body, the human body is completely defenseless. Well, all the defenses are in our skin, our mouth. It's all of our everything, everything of us that contacts the outside, like I'm touching this thing, is designed, if I may use that word, to protect us from the outside environment, all the little animals around us. And so when you open a person up, you are completely defenseless. That's why cuts from sores get infected like that. And it used to be that before penicillin, before penicillin, you would have you could die of a bullet wound. Now they have ways to reduce that pain. Well, the point is that the point is that if you're going to invent the modern medical establishment, you cannot have things like, oh, wabi-sabi and grime looks better and the dirt looks better on it. No, you can't have that. You are required to have a society that hates anything, or you are required to have a society that is willing to change that, or even force it. But at some point, the West had all these Victorian things, all these fine wooden everything, and as they're discovering and developing, damn, that just stops for such a long time where it doesn't need to. Anyway, as the West discovers more and more that grime, that dirt and all these things do not harm people, then they are eliminating everything that accumulates grime for their lives. So no, at some point, the West was similar to the Japanese, similar to the Chinese, but then as they're discovering these things, they change them. So it was changed as well. So it wasn't a Western thing. It wasn't like, oh, and another thing, this guy, it's like we value the things that are dirt. Like, for instance, we don't like things that sparkle. We like this mellow shining, perhaps. And the thing is that West, thanks to Christianity, thanks to Zoroastrianism, has this belief that white is good, black is evil. That which is closer to the light, then that is good. You need that. For scientific discovery, you need the perspective that light is good. Light represents knowledge. Darkness represents not knowing, ignorance. And so when this Renaissance hit, and this guy, I'm not sure he knew a lot about the West. I don't know. Junichiro. But you are required to have the perspective, at least, that knowledge is the greatest good and ignorance is the greatest evil. Also, the Japanese have this thing where it's like tatemae and hone, something like that. It's like the face that you show people and the face that's within you. Whereas the West has this thing where, no, you should always show who you are truly inside and be who you truly are inside, because knowledge is good. Knowledge is good. It's light. It is this worship of the light, and that is required for great scientific discoveries, or to have at least a culture that permits people like this to exist, people like the great Western thinkers. So yeah, I will continue reading this book.